I've put my lovely gardening gloves back on, and I'm a huge fan of these because they're all about, and this makes me sound like such a girly girl, but they're all about keeping your manicure intact.
It's very important.
What about you? Are you a fan of gardening with gloves, or do you prefer the soil on your bare fingers?
I do prefer the soil on my bare fingers. Some things, though, it's safe to have the gloves on, say with roses, or if you're pruning shrubs, or anything where you think you might actually damage your hands, you should definitely have them on. Now, if you're
thistles,
okay. If you don't know what you're weeding, you should definitely have those on. Okay. But I like them because then you have like the dexterity of your fingers. Sometimes it's easier to do things without the gloves on.
Listen, we need to remind people that right now the special here at Creekside Gardens is fill a cart with annuals for $30, 2 carts for $50. If you're looking to get on the bandwagon, you're a little late this season, they make it affordable to get on board with planting the annuals. Okay, so we're talking about hanging baskets. The one that we're looking at right now, marvelous, but not everyone's is looking like that at this point, right?
No, we gotta do a little bit of maintenance to keep them looking nice and fresh.
When you purchase a hanging basket, should you fully expect that you're going to need to do some upkeep on it?
Yeah, and it's good to do it from the starting of when you when you purchase the basket. Okay. Starting with like deadheading when you see, say, a geranium basket.
What's deadheading?
So deadheading is when you take off the spent blooms, and with a geranium you take it all the way down to the next leaves.
Okay, do we have an example of a spent bloom on this one here?
This one, right?
Okay, so how do we deadhead?
Just take it like this. Mm-hmm. And you prune right to the next node or the next leaves and cut it off. Now what that's doing is it's taking the energy away from like producing seed and putting the energy into growing more roots, and then you'll have a better product.
Okay, so I'm looking for a node or the leaves right here.
There. Perfect.
Perfect, okay. And then you just pitch these?
Yep, in a basket.
You could even put them in a little glass of water, couldn't you?
You could have.
I mean, they're a little welted looking, but yeah, exactly. And how long am I looking at until new ones pop out?
Well, the new ones there's already fresh ones coming right here.
Okay.
So it will just promote more coming up.
Right, because it can focus its energy on those new little buds. Okay, what about this one here? It looks like it's got a little bit
more work to it. Yeah, the geranium is pretty easy. There's only like 1 or 2, 3 things you take off. There's a quick way to this, or there's a slower way to this.
Sorry, before we move on, this one only has a couple more that need to go?
Yeah, like this one right here.
Okay, so what's a sign that the flower head is spent?
When you see it all just kind of icky and like all wilted.
Gets a little dry. Yeah. Okay, so how do you tell the difference though between it just lacking water and being spent? Or do they kind of look similar?
It's spent because it's either spent because the flower's done, or because there hasn't been enough water, it's now spent. So either way, you just need to clip it. Okay. Cut it off.
All right. So what about this guy here?
This guy is a little messier. This would be an example of, say, you never really pinched it while you were going through, like when you bought it. So this is like, it doesn't have anything done to it.
And what exactly is pinching again?
Pinching, so I did this one, just like how we did geranium all the way down to the next leaf.
Yes.
So if you're doing this one, you'd go down to the next leaf or the next node. Okay.
And again, that allows the plant to focus on the new flourishing buds instead of the spent flowers?
More green. So a slow way of doing this would be just as I was doing and going like this.
And the faster way?
And the faster way would be to take to about where you think it's spent and just start giving it a haircut.
Giving it a haircut?
Yeah.
Look, maybe later in life you can become a hairdresser if you decide horticulture.
I've had that been told before, yeah.
All right. The nice thing is everyone that we've spoke to this morning here at Creekside Gardens is a horticulturalist, and you've got about 7 or 8 of them on staff, right?
Yeah, there's always, now that it's at the end of the season, we always have at least 1 on staff. We had more at the starting of the year.
Okay, so it just kind of depends on how busy it is, right? Okay, so if you have your questions, you can definitely ask them when you come in here to Creekside. We are not done though. We will continue to broadcast until 10 a.m. here in Richmond.